Hi, my name is Joe Chow, and this is my informational interview presentation titled Fisher of Men. One of the most famous disciples in the Bible was Peter. He was one of the first disciples that Jesus called. He was the one who got to walk on water with Jesus, kind of, and he was ultimately the one who denied Jesus 3 times at the cross. But when Jesus called Peter to follow him, he said one of the most famous phrases in the Bible. He said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." But how do we become fishers of men? I'll answer that at the end. For now, let's continue. My areas of interest include ministry, working with the church, working with a nonprofit organization, and possibly entrepreneurship. The two individuals that I interviewed were James Racine and Katie Spade. James Racine is the pastor of Volunteer Ministries and director of SLT for Schools Transformation for All People's Church, and he taught me that if you follow God's calling on your life, you will always be living your dream. Katie Spade is the area director for Beach Cities Young Life, and she taught me the importance of doing things with God, not just for God. So, James Racine. Like I said, he is the pastor of Volunteer Ministries and director of Schools Transformation for All People's Church. And I interviewed James because I wanted to learn more about DTS, Discipleship Training Schools, and what it takes to run one. And James is a pastor at the church I go to, All People's Church. So I shot him an email and set up an interview. All People's Church. All People's Church is a part of the Antioch family of churches, a global movement right now, and it is led by Pastor Robert Herber, who moved from Texas to plant All People's Church in San Diego in 2008. And the church's mission statement is transforming lives to bless San Diego, planting churches to transform nations. A little bit about the church's workspace. They are located in City Heights, San Diego. They are currently meeting at the church's offices, the worship center, which is pictured down below. They have a small assortment of offices for the pastors, staff members, and anyone who volunteers at the church. They also have a variety of multi-purpose rooms, kids that serve as kids rooms, event rooms, meeting rooms, conference rooms, and skills that someone in James's position needs to have are to recruit, train, and develop teams. They need to be good at building relationships with people who go to their church. They need to have empathy for the hard times that people going to church are having. They need to be a good leader, have good leadership skills, public speaking skills, if they are preaching or giving a sermon, and they of course need great communication skills. Some of James' responsibilities include attending staff meetings, those happen Tuesday mornings, overseeing the volunteer ministries, training and developing the setup, tear down, ushers, safety teams, parking teams, all of those. He's also in charge of building out the curriculum for SLT that happens mostly over the summer before the school year starts. He leads and develops staff for SLT. Those are mainly the small group leaders who help the students of SLT and his administrators. He also serves as the MC for Tuesday nights. Those are class days, 6 to 10 every Tuesday. And he facilitates everything that happens during class on Tuesday and the occasional Saturdays for SLT. James taught me that if you follow God's calling on your life, you will always be living out your dream. We talked a lot about James's passions and career aspirations, including being a published author and eventually leading his own church. But he said that he's actually living his dream right now. And I think that's so cool because we always want something, we'll always have another desire, but if we can follow God, we'll be content. My personal assessment, would I work for All People's Church? Yes, I would. I love the people there, I love the church. and I think it would be fun to work for them. Could I see myself happy in this position? Yes, absolutely. It's all things I love to do. Investing and pouring into people, developing teams of people, and equipping the next generation of leaders for the church. And I get to do that all while being surrounded by people who love Jesus. It doesn't get much better than that. So some next steps, I'll probably want to go through SOT after I graduate college, continue to volunteer and serve at the church, and possibly go to the church's church planting school in the future. Katie Spade, the next professional that I interviewed. Katie is the area director for Beach Cities Young Life. She's also a musician, but we'll focus on Young Life for my presentation. I want to learn more about working for Young Life and what that entails, so I reached out to Katie, and I got in touch with Katie through my team leader, who I volunteer with. So Young Life. Young Life was founded in 1941. It's an organization dedicated to introducing Jesus to every kid, no matter their circumstance. It's a worldwide organization that serves middle schoolers, high schoolers, college students, teen moms, and the special needs communities. Beach Cities covers Point Loma, Mission Bay, La Jolla, and Monarch School downtown, which is a school for the homeless. Some skills that an area director would need include building relationships with kids, leaders, volunteers, developing and training teams, the volunteer teams for every school, planning events like banquets or fundraisers, fundraising, managing the ever full email inbox, and of course communication skills. Katie's responsibilities, her main one is overseeing and directing ministry in our area. She's in charge of leading the team leaders, volunteers, committee members. She's also doing ministry herself, building the relationships with kids in San Diego, and she's in charge of running events, inviting people, making flyers, getting supplies, and preparing for those events. She also meets with donors who want to donate to Young Life because they have been impacted by the organization, and she definitely has to check her emails every single day. Katie taught me the importance of learning to do things with God, not just for God, if you're going to work in ministry. Ministry is all about people. You're living life with those you volunteer with and those you serve. So if you're not in love with Jesus, life gets pretty hard. My personal assessment for this job, would I work for Beach Cities Young Life? Yes, I would. Young Life is a really fun organization to work with. They get kind of crazy, but that's part of the fun. Could I see myself being an area director and happy in the position? Probably not. There's just a lot of extra stuff that goes on for an area director. I probably just want to continue being a volunteer or maybe go on staff. Maybe possibly in the future. And recap for my presentation, I interviewed James Racine and Katie Spade. James is the pastor of Volunteer Ministries and director for SLT at All People's Church. He taught me that if I follow God's calling on my life, I will always be living my dream, no matter what I'm doing. And Katie Spade is the area director for Beach Cities Young Life, and she taught me how important it is to learn to do things with God, not just for God. And if I take those two lessons to heart, then I will become a fisher of men and live the life I am called to live.